Morning, Wood.
Sorry.
We're doing a treasure hunt for $30,000.
Oh,
Details
stop
to follow.
Oh, God. Is that enough? Is that like naming that tune after one note? Could you give somebody just that? There's $30,000 hidden in Huntington Beach somewhere. Go. And could somebody figure out
Well,
by some sort of
Well, you'd have to give more.
fortuitous path?
Oh, probably not.
We wouldn't have to give more, but could they?
We'll have to be out in the open. It
It's
couldn't be in
like
somebody's
Seinfeld,
place.
Kramer figuring out what George's decadent guilty pleasure is because it had to do with his password on his ATM.
Uh-huh.
And he goes, "You'll never guess it." And Kramer ended up guessing it. But through this whole circuitous route by figuring out who George is and just this whole psychoanalyst, and he getting closer to it and closer to it, and he finally gets really close, and then they end the scene.
Oh, that.
So if somebody just would say, "Well, wait a minute now, they know who you are. You guys don't talk about money." You know, they could go down a path. You know, you just got to watch what you say because you never know. Or somebody who's obsessed with it. We got stalkers out there.
Let's hope.
They could be figuring us out as we speak. Hell, they know where they live. Or we live.
Where we live? Yeah, that's true. We don't blend in the shadows. But anyways, hi, we're here. And obviously, look at how we're dressed. Look how I'm dressed. Remember me with the hat and the fucking coat? You know, hopefully those days are done. Hopefully you get to see this.
Oh, right. I see. Yeah, no.
Yeah.
This
I mean,
all of
you
a
know-
sudden it kicked up to warmth.
Is it the walk of shame if I come in the house wearing the same clothes I wore yesterday? I think it's the walk of pride, personally, but...
We got to call it the walk of claim. Walk I got
Claim my manhood.
Yeah. But there you go. There's the whole difference between women and men. For women, it's a shame. For guys, it's a conquering. You know, it's just.
Well, I don't think that's true of our co-hosts. So
Well-
you can't, I mean...
Well, there you go. I
the exception
agree.
that proves the rule, or...
But it's sad that we label with names like that shame. I mean, there
I
should
hate
be
the
no
word
shame.
No, there's shaming should be. That's what Congress should the
Shame
shameless act. And it's not.
shameless.
Yeah. Then first we'll give William H. Macy a
Right.
Medal of Honor, and then we'll move on from there.
We get the celebrities to get their support behind it. Of course, then we got to do the whole. You didn't see Game of Thrones, but the classic shame. You know, the nun with the bell walking the naked queen down.
Is that like oh me, wreck me?
Boom! You know, that would hurt with that bell. It was a classic scene because they stripped the queen naked and made her walk all the way down through the center of the kingdom or whatever.
Are we not going to tell me whether she was hot or not?
Oh, she's very
Oh,
hot.
yeah,
She-
okay,
yeah,
yeah.
she's the, I guess would be considered the second or third hottest.
On the show.
What do you call it? Long running, but you know, main character after Daenerys.
Yeah.
You know, who's considered the hottest. But no, she gets spat on, and you know, vegetables and the whole.
Wow.
All this stuff while she's walking naked. So food porn.
Huh.
So
Hey, can you send me that clip?
shame, shame.
Oh.
Boom.
Ah.
So that's that's what every time I think about the walk of shame. But you know, I
Yeah.
think the shameful part is not that why you're walking is because you just got fucked. You got drunk. You got fucked by some strange guy, and then he, you know, suddenly abandoned you, or you felt guilty to
Right,
walk.
right,
That's the
right.
shame part, right? The real shame should be that you didn't make him get you an Uber.
Yeah.
Or that you didn't pick where you went to get fucked. You know, it was all about at the guy's convenience. That to me is the
So the
shameful
swinging
part.
dick guy.
the asshole gets
Douchebag.
everything he wants. You know, he even gets to go fall asleep after it happens in his own bed. That's the true shame, I think, which is kind of
You
fucked
think?
up.
Oh,
Which is why Uber picks those gals up all the time.
yeah. Yeah, that's true.
Yeah.
That's what you used to like about the job.
Well, I never really.
I
One
know.
time where I did the overnight, but the Uber drivers would say the time to do Uber is Huntington Beach, Newport Beach, after the bar, like 3,
Right,
4,
right,
5
right.
o'clock in the morning on a Friday or Saturday. I never
Oh, yeah.
got that ultimate ride where you're picking, where you just that's all you're doing is shuttling the shamers.
Yeah. I remember one time in particular where I thought I had an opportunity, but I didn't. And it was picked up at Social, and Gail got in the car, and she just had to spat with her lesbian lover, or lesbian girlfriend, or just girlfriend, I guess.
Well, that's where it went off the
And
right off the bat.
well, no, because I kept getting this vibe, but at the time especially, I was like, I'm a professional, and I'm not going to get in trouble, and blah blah blah. But she was hot, and there was one time I did actually try and pick up a gal. There was actually 2 gals in the car, and this was more in my wheelhouse. That one was like younger.
Well, there was one where you actually.
One time I actually went in
Instacart
with.
too,
I
right?
went.
I thought you almost invited somebody to come out with you when you delivered food to a young gal and dad was at home or something like that. I thought
There was
you
a couple.
crossed that.
No, I don't think I ever crossed it with Instacart. There were times I fantasized about it. Oh, and I remember this one time I was delivering Uber Eats, and it was over at that place on Irvine Center Drive, that big complex. And the gal gets out, and she's wearing a robe, and she had like the Mariah Carey kind of body back in the day, and so you just see this. It was just oozing sex as she's coming out and taking the food, and I so wanted to follow her back in.
But no gestures.
No gestures, and that was.
But now that
was pre-COVID.
The scenario you talked about with the Uber picking them up from the bar is very different from the shame picker-uppers, which
Right.
would probably be the least time you'd ever get to hook up with a gal is after when she's feeling guilty about hooking up with a guy, and you're walking. That's where you're crying on the shoulder guy, and I can't believe I did that. And maybe you spend the evening consoling her, or the morning, I should say. And maybe you could either go into the friend zone, or maybe you get her number and you know what, hey, we should carry on this conversation later. But if an Uber driver actually got to score with a shame walker, that would be I would feel doubly guilty on that one.
Really? Well, you are an altar boy, so that makes sense. That's the double there.
You're preying on a vulnerable gal who's just been preyed on her vulnerability. That's really fucked up. And I don't know.
Or an opportunity in the waiting.
It's an opportunity, but I think that would be the chances of that happening.
Well, it depends on how you play
That the
it,
gal
too.
is really
But
going
it's
to
in
go
your
back
head.
in the ring.
Yeah, but wait a second. Now, does it matter what's going in your head as you're consoling? I mean, if you're like the whole time thinking, is there any way to press the advantage? Not to be, a dick, but just see if you can take the situation and make it work to more your advantage. Well, hopefully both people's advantage. Not taking advantage, but just, maybe, that's just what she needs.
Well, and does the sloppy seconds part come into play here at all? Because that's what that would likely be as well. Hey, let's go take a shower together. How about that first?
Now, more likely that would be if you're picking her up at some guy's house and she's getting in and leaving. That's really, and I've done that.
Well,
a
that's
few
what the
times.
walk of shame is.
Yeah, but it was on a
you're
bar,
Not driving
but I
over
mean,
and
if
picking
it-
them up
if
on
it-
the walk itself.
No, but I'm saying, a bar. I don't know if you're gonna have the walk of shame from a bar.
No,
but
that's was my point when you
Okay.
were bringing up your scenario. Is that
Yeah.
walk of shame is not picking him up
No.
from the bar.
No, from the house.
It's the hour or two from 2 o'clock to 4. There's a little dead period, and then
Yeah.
around 3 or 4 or so is when you're getting the shamers
They're-
before you get the commuters. So it's a
Right,
little bridge
right.
between bar and commute.
Right.
Walk of shame,
Right.
right?
So
That's what I mean.
yeah. So
And the chances of getting somebody and then scoring with them after they've just scored are a little
No, yeah.
sober. They need to get a cup of coffee, and then maybe you go to Denny's or Norm's.
Oh my God! Yes, I know. Went to Norm's last night, midnight. It was closed.
Tell me, Norm's.
We never close. I know the whole world.
We'll be there for you.
We should do a speculation show on what's coming in the post-COVID age.
Yeah,
That might be fun.
Well, I can give you the whole restaurant perspective. Guessing.
Oh.
That's a whole thing. Anyway.
Okay.
on
All
the
right.
next
Well, yeah. On the next
morning,
something.
Wood.
Or TMS. Don't forget TMS. We love you. Bye.
The Manopause Show.
Oh.
It's not
That's
that
right,
big
yeah.
to just call it by the initials. We're not IBM yet.
I want them to look it up. I wonder if you put in TMS, what comes up.
TMS.
All right. Bye.
Click.